Good morning, Shindo here. Well, it looks like relations between Iran and Russia are getting even warmer as Putin and Rouhani are meeting this very moment and have been for the past couple of days. All this going on while do you hear anything about this in the news? Significant news. News about Iran and Russia in talks and talking about economic cooperation, talking about cooperation when it comes to oil, which would probably reduce oil prices, which will affect the United States economy. These things aren't being discussed in the news. Instead, there's some kind of witch hunt against Trump and his administration because they talked to a couple of Russians. Remember a few years ago when Obama sent Hillary Clinton over to Russia to talk to them and how warm and cozy things were and how wonderful the news thought that was? Well, that's okay, I suppose, with Obama and Hillary, but not with Donald Trump. As coalitions form, that will be certainly not in the interest of the American people. We are not getting the proper news that we need in order to stay informed. If you want the proper news that you need in order to stay informed, then may I suggest that you subscribe to my channel here. I'm not the only one doing it by any stretch of the imagination, but you sure as hell ain't gonna get it on the major news networks. Subscribe, comment, share, and like my videos. This is from USA Today. Putin meets with Iranian leader, touts reliable and stable partner. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani at the Kremlin on Tuesday and lauded the Persian theocracy as a, quote, good neighbor and reliable, stable partner. Putin and Rouhani agreed to work together on economic, energy, and military issues. The talks come as Putin works to increase Russian influence in the Middle East, while Rouhani attempts to show economic progress ahead of Iranian elections in May. Putin said trade between the countries rose 70% last year. The two sides this week signed more than a dozen agreements on economics, tourism, diplomacy, and other issues, the Kremlin said. Quote, Russia and Iran share many years, if not centuries, of bilateral cooperation, unquote, Putin said, adding that Iran and Russia have maintained diplomatic relations for more than 500 years. Rouhani was similarly exuberant, lauding the bilateral efforts in Syria and in combating terrorism, our ultimate goal in strengthening peace and stability in the region, he said. The ties between the two countries have drawn closer in recent years, in large part because of Syria. Russia and Iran both backed the government of Syrian President Bashar Assad against U.S.-backed rebels whose fortunes have waned in recent months. The brutal 6-year Syrian war has crucial implications for Russia, which holds its sole Middle East base in that country. Last year, however, Iranian allowed Russia to use the Hamid air base to launch attacks against militants in Syria. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said Tuesday that his nation has agreed to allow Russia to use Iranian military bases for airstrikes on, quote, case-by-case basis, Reuters reported. Iran, the world's most populous Shiite Muslim nation, is closely linked to Shiite-dominated Syrian government in its fight against the Sunni-led rebels. Economic gains are crucial for Rouhani, who braved fierce attacks from conservatives in his own government for his historic nuclear deal signed with the West that eased economic sanctions in return for Iran reduced stockpiles of enriched uranium and its capacity to enrich more. Russia has become an important technology partner, scheduled to build or revamp several nuclear reactors at Iran and providing vital arms to Tehran's military. The wild card could be the Trump administration. President Trump and Putin have sent signals that the U.S. and Russia could grow closer, but Trump has shown Iran only venom, and Tehran would face tighter U.S. sanctions over ballistic missile launches and other non-nuclear activities under a bill unveiled last week by a bipartisan group of senators. Iran and Russia's cozy relations is nothing good for the United States of America. It's certainly not good for what is continuing under Trump, the administration's want, need, desire to have Assad out of Syria. Although Trump isn't as open about that, the United States' position on Syria hasn't changed. And thanks to the Obama administration and their lack of showing any kind of real effort towards doing anything in Syria, Russia has run roughshod in that area and has become more powerful, and now with an alliance with Iran, they can continue to give the United States of America a black eye. Is this being reported? Of course it's not. You will find a link for this article in the description box. This is Shindo. Have a good Wednesday.